Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 66 of the Drop It podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're probably wondering what the hell is going on. I'm currently standing in the backyard with a walker, and I've got quite a story to tell you that I know is going to be really beneficial for your life and for you on your weight loss journey. If you're just listening to this on audio on Spotify or Apple or a different platform, the audio quality is not going to be up to par. The reason why is because I'm just using a little mobile microphone instead of our normal setup, given that I can't sit down very comfortably right now. But we're going to get a little more into that. This episode is going to be really useful and really impactful for those of you that are struggling to stay motivated, for those of you that are struggling to connect with what the reason why is that you're losing weight, and for those of you that get a little bit lost in the day-to-day of all of the seamlessly ending amount of shit that we have to do to prioritize our health, especially in the beginning, especially before you build these routines, and especially before you build these habits. So we're going to get into that. If you relate to that, pull out a pen and a paper, unless you're driving, and take some notes, because this podcast episode will be very impactful for you. If it's your first time on the show and you have no idea who I am, this is going to be a really interesting first episode for you. But my name is Nick Geoppo. I lost 110 pounds in 2019 after a lifetime of losing weight and gaining it back on every single diet you've ever heard of, and trying and failing and then feeling like shit about myself, and then restarting again and again and again, and dealing with a variety of health issues and mental issues caused from my lack of self-belief and my lack of care and my lack of finding a way to do it sustainably. In 2019, I lost all the weight on something that I call the common sense diet, and I now coach people through what I call the common sense diet system to have the same relationship with food, the same relationship with movement, the same relationship with my why and my reason for living that I have now, that actually led to me keeping the weight off without it taking any discipline for me to actually maintain my results. So that change is absolutely possible. If you get anything out of the last 65 or 66 episodes, I hope that it's that you really can put obesity behind you for good in a way that doesn't suck ass and decrease your quality of life or take up your entire mental headspace. I'm going to start this episode off with a story. Those of you that follow me on Instagram have seen some of this, but my whole life I had health issues due to my own obesity. It was chronic heartburn. I mean, chronic heartburn to the point where I would wake up with acid pouring out of my nose and into my mouth, like burning my lips, and just extreme chest discomfort. And it seems like I was always in the ER or the urgent care for something. There were multiple years where I just ran up my out-of-pocket maximum on my insurance. I spent $8,000-$9,000 a year on medical stuff, and constant chest pain caused from anxiety, caused from heartburn, caused from just extreme discomfort in my rib cage. I always had a lot of like rib pain and chest pain and headaches and lightheadedness when I'd stand up, and that just came from a variety of things. But the really big cause of that was my obesity, and depression was one of those things too. You know, I had a doctor tell me that I was anxious and that I was depressed that I was obese because I was anxious and depressed. So I just took that as like, oh, that makes sense, and actually found that he and all the other doctors were wrong, and that all of these symptoms actually bettered when I fixed my relationship with my body and my relationship with food. You know, they said that I was fat because I was depressed, so they wanted to solve my anxiety and depression. What I found was I was actually anxious and depressed because I was fat. And when I lost weight the right way, my anxiety and my depression went away. I have no anxiety, no depression, no medical issues besides what we're going to talk about here in this story. And that's leading to me being in a walker here in the backyard. So clearly there's some medical issue going on. And I just found that losing weight, you know, the most confronting thing about actual sustainable weight loss. I'm not talking about like keto, losing 9 pounds in 2 weeks and then quitting, or doing fasting for alternate day eating to lose weight for a month and then quitting because it's restrictive, or doing Weight Watchers to hit a means to an end, to have your summer body to just quit, like all this shit that we've already done, restarting again every Monday. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually putting obesity behind you. The reason why it's so difficult, the reason why most people never actually do it, the reason why 99% of people do not achieve long-term results is because it's so confronting to the parts of your life that we just don't want to pay attention to. And that's that we don't have much of a plan for the future. We don't feel happy in our relationship. We're in a sexless marriage. We don't feel we have the respect of our children or the people around us. We hate our jobs. all of these different things that we actually use food to cope with and to get dopamine from, and food becomes the best part of our day. We become reliant on it. There's nothing that you can do to keep the weight off without addressing these things. No diet is going to save you from an unhealthy relationship with yourself. And that's just so fucking hard to hear. I know it is, because it was hard for me to tell myself, and it's hard for me to say to you, but it is the truth, and really attacking the mind, body, soul, spirit, the whole person. Attacking is not even the right word. Making love with and accepting where you're at, coming up with a plan for the future and a reason to stick to that plan that actually is the path forward. So all of these medical issues, I've worked through, and I don't go to the urgent care or the emergency room ever anymore. But one issue that I've never really fully addressed is my back. So when I was fat, I always had skeleton pain and muscle joint, bone pain and aching, and I had back pain ever since I was 18. And looking at pictures of myself shirtless, and even on Instagram, you've seen my side profile from when I was fat as fuck. You can see my spine just looks really fucked up. And as I lost weight, it's been 6 years now, right? I'm so uncomfortable even filming this podcast episode. I'm so bloated, and they've had me on pain meds the last few days. Today's my first day off of the pain meds, but constipated, feel like shit, feel a lot of puffiness in my face. And I'm not giving this episode my best. I am giving this episode my best, but a lesson inside of this episode is that I have a commitment to release a podcast episode every Wednesday. So though I don't feel my best, and though this isn't a good setup, I'm just giving myself permission to release the episode anyway. And this is also what I've learned from weight loss is like, man, I'm not at my best, but my 100% effort today looks different than my 100% effort when I'm able-bodied. And my 100% effort when I feel like shit might look different than my 100% effort when I feel really great. And those are all things that I learned from the ups and downs of losing weight, gaining it back, and doing it sustainably. So this is my 100% today. And I'm committed to releasing these episodes every Wednesday, even if I'm laying on the floor with poor audio quality, because I know that so many of my clients, so many of you as my followers rely on these messages and rely on this podcast for motivation. And just so a few people really talk about sustainability. This is the exact message that I needed when I was fat. I'm committed to continuing to deliver it. But back to my health, and you're going to find this really helpful. I never really solved my back issues. And the way that I fix all of my health issues, I really doubled down on relationship with food and properly nourishing my body, learning, educating, practicing, implementing, failing, practicing again and again and again, over time mastering. I've really, really practiced properly nourishing my mind, dropping the people in my life that were not serving to how I feel, dropping the job that I hated, finding a job that I didn't hate as much. And then over time, letting that progress over the course of years. Now I'm, full-time coaching people like you, and I'm fully aligned and have no stressors related to some, but much less stressors related to what I do, because I actually love what I do now. I never thought that was possible for me. So no longer is income or work or any of these things are not stressors for me, because I'm living in alignment with what's true. And I didn't know what was true at the time, right? It's been a journey and a process. Mental health is absolutely on point through proper nourishment of my mind, through not scrolling on social media. I haven't watched the news. I don't watch TV. I don't watch any of these things that just drag me down and keep me in this place. So I've surrounded myself with other people that live positive and healthy lifestyles, and that's been big too. So all these things that I've changed about my life actually have nothing to do with weight loss, but they are the things that have led to me changing who I am as a person by changing the things that I'm consuming, the content I'm consuming, the people I'm consuming information to, the people that are influencing me. That's why I say you need to work on the whole person, right? The mind, body, the soul, the spirit. It's not just food. Of course, food matters the most in terms of being in a calorie deficit in a way that doesn't suck, right? That's what the common sense diet is. The one thing I never fully addressed was my back. And I've done a lot for my back. The main issue is I've always had some curvature to my back and a lot of compression in my spine, and my hips have been a little bit imbalanced. And I'm very active. I walk every day. I lift weights 2 to 3 times a week. Do a lot of body weight squats and push-ups and chin-ups and pull-ups, and nothing super heavy, just light movements, and they feel really good for me. This is the best I've looked and the best I felt besides the last few days of this injury. When I think about really going all in on my spine, what happened was 3 or 4 days ago, I just had a paralyzation level of pain in my back. So I couldn't move my midsection. It took me 5 hours to get out of bed, and had my friends take me to the ER, and I thought that I broke my back. And turns out I just have a protruding disc and a bulging disc coming out of my back and pushing on a nerve. That's been particularly painful. And was in the hospital. I couldn't move at all day one. Very frustrated, very just practicing coming back to positivity. I got to day two, my head started to get a little straighter and I started moving a little more. And I just spent that whole day laying there in bed, visualizing, right? I've got doctors telling me that I need surgery. I've got doctors telling me that this is going to be a lifelong issue if I don't fix it now. And this is so crazy. It's like this whole Eastern versus Western philosophy of medicine. A doctor comes in and a spinal surgeon comes in and goes, yeah, this is going to be a lifetime issue. You're going to need to get surgery at some point. And he gives me this whole thing on what's involved in surgery. And I said, has there ever been anyone in the entire world that has fixed this issue and lived pain-free without surgery? He goes, yeah, but it's not common and it's not. And I looked at him and I said, well, is it common for people to lose a massive amount of weight and keep it off for a long time? And that was kind of an asshole thing for me to say. But what I'm doing is really pushing back on this idea that you need to get a fucking operation. Look, here's the reality. If anyone can do it, then you can do it. If anyone can lose weight and keep it off, then you can lose weight and keep it off too. If anyone can fix their back without needing to get a spinal surgery, then you can probably do that too, right? And that's just the energy that I'm tapped into. And after that conversation, I went, look, I'm not committed to never getting a surgery. If I get to the point where I need one, I will. But that's not how I feel. I haven't really gone all in on trying to fix the issue instead of looking for the fucking shortcut. And it's the same shit that I used to do when I was fat, is look for the shortcut. What's the shortcut that's just going to make me feel better right now? Is it keto? Is it this? Now it's like Ozempic. What's the shortcut? A gastric sleeve? It's like we haven't tried to fix the fucking issue. There's a different self-respect that comes when you're able to heal yourself. There is. And look, I'm not saying no one needs surgery. I get this comes across as like a Nick, you might not be taking care of your spine. I'm unwilling to get an operation on my body when there is a world where other people have fixed this exact same issue without an operation and live pain-free as if they never had it and forget they ever had a back issue without me really trying that. If I was fat right now with the mentality, I wouldn't have the mentality I have right now, probably if I was fat, right? But if I could take my mentality and put it into my old fat body right now in 2025, I would not go straight to Ozempic. But when I was fat, when I had an unhealthy mind, I would have really wanted to do Ozempic because it's just a shortcut. Right now, if I was in that situation with my mind in my fat body in 2025, my fat body was in 2019, the last time I lived in it, I would be sitting here going, what's the sustainable approach? Most people that are seeing results are taking some kind of drugs or shortcuts, though they gain the weight back when they get off of them or when they realize that they're not going to be able to do the shortcut forever. Has anyone ever done it naturally, sustainably, and put it truly behind them? Yes, they have. It's hard to find them, but I can become that person and then I can lead other people through the same thing. And now I'm looking, it's like surreal looking back on that. Now I'm going to be doing the same thing with my spine, right? It's the exact same mentality. And this is why I say that weight loss is the ultimate teacher, because this mindset that I've cultivated for myself has come from the reference points of health that I have built by truly prioritizing my health. And you deserve to feel that. You do. And it's hard to feel that when you haven't fully done it. I get it. I couldn't have done that either. And if I was fat watching this podcast episode, I'd be like, okay, dude, well, that makes sense because you did it. But you could do it too. And that just sounds so cheesy motivational shit. It is actually the truth, though. And the way to do it is to tap into what it would feel like. So the number one thing that you can do to lose weight and keep the weight off and develop the belief, here's what you need to realize. Whatever you believe about yourself is true. So if you believe that you can, then you can. If you believe that you can't, then you cannot. The difference between when I lost weight for the last time and the losing and gaining weight every year for 6 or 7 years, 50 times a year, or 50 pounds a year on every bullshit diet, was I really tapped into, at times, truly believing that it was possible. And that's when I built the common sense diet, built a system. I was like, I truly believe in this. And I just let myself believe in it. And when I didn't believe in it, I closed my eyes and if I did believe in it, what would I do? What would somebody that truly believed they were going to keep the weight off, even though I don't believe it right now, what actions would they take? Maybe through taking those actions, I could believe in it. So I don't believe that I can lose weight and keep it off. Well, what if I did? You close my eyes. What if I pretended that I did for 1 second? What action would I take? I'd get up, I'd go for a walk right now and make sure my next meal was one that made me feel good after I eat it. And then I would just do that, make that short-term commitment. And then after you eat that healthy meal, after you move your body, I would start to believe it. I go, shit, I do actually believe it, And should I had not believed it, I would have just ordered Dairy Queen Blizzards and Red Robin or just like microwave some bullshit lean cuisine that, even though it's low calorie, made me feel like trash and wasn't properly nourishing my body. Nothing wrong with Dairy Queen, nothing wrong with Red Robin, nothing wrong with lean cuisines, unless you're doing them all the time, right? I took that mental muscle and I've applied it to every single area of my life. When I started posting on content and coaching last year or the year before, what if I truly believed that I could amass a large following? What if I truly believed that I could help people change their lives? What if I truly could become an inspiration to myself and to others? And what if I could authentically tell my story in a way that made sense, given that I haven't really reflected on all of it at this point anyway? What if I could? What actions would I take? I'd post on social media every day. What about on the days I don't believe it? Close my eyes. Take a breath. What if I did believe it? And then here we are. Here we are looking at one of the top weight loss podcasts in the world from a viewership perspective. And I think from a quality perspective as well, but I'm maybe a little bit biased, right? And it gives you this reference point. I think back to when I don't believe in myself. I just think back to when I pretended to believe in myself. And I really put this into practice when I was in the hospital. And I'm going to walk you through this visualization. I'm laying there in bed. Doctors are, telling me it's going to take weeks until I'm able to stand up. It's been 4 days and here I am, right? And I'm not pushing myself past, pain thresholds or anything like that. This isn't some, ooh, rah, I'm so tough. It's just, look at how fast I'm healing, right? I sat there in the bed and I closed my eyes and I just remembered what it felt like to be mobile. And I took a breath and I just talked to my body. And this sounds woo-woo, it sounds cheesy, it sounds hippie, and that's okay. I'll be the cheesy woo-woo hippie. This stuff actually works, and your ability to practice these things will help you. I closed my eyes and I just put my hand on my chest. I'm not going to do that right now because I have this walker. I put another hand on my stomach. I said, I'm so grateful for my body. I'm so grateful for all of the bullshit that I've gone through with my body. Obesity, weight loss, not properly taking care of myself, fully properly taking care of myself, running longer than marathon distances after losing weight, hurting myself on accident. Sometimes you could argue loving the pain of hurting myself, loving the discomfort, just the whole mind-body connection, being great, being bad, the whole journey. So much honor. I'm so grateful. And I'm setting the intention to continue to honor my body. I'm so thankful that I'm in the hospital. I'm so grateful that my back hurts, because this is my body's way of telling me that something needs to change, that I'm not fully taking care of myself the way that I can be. Not that I need to do more, but just that I can do things a little bit different when it comes to really actually taking care of my spine. I'm so grateful that I'm here. And I truly, truly believe that this is a great thing. This is one of the best things that has ever happened to me. And what's just a great pause. I'm sitting there in the hospital, taking a day off of working, besides messaging back and forth with my clients and just breathing. What did it feel like to be mobile? What would it feel like if I exceeded the timelines that the doctors put on me? What would it feel like if I could lose weight, keep it off forever? And if you're fat, let's go through this visualization, right? This is how I learned this. Close your eyes. You're fat as fuck, right? I was 110 pounds overweight, laying there in the bedroom and filming myself doing it. You see this all over Instagram. What would it feel like if I wasn't fat? Not what would I look like? Not what would I look like if I was skinny? You can't really see yourself skinny when you're fat unless you look back at old pictures. Don't do that. We're not going back. We're going forwards. Burn your old pictures when you were smaller. Okay, we're not going backwards, because where you were before when you were skinny led to you being fat again. So it doesn't matter that you lost 50 pounds on keto 2 years ago and look skinnier. Throw those pictures away. You're a different person now. We're moving forward, not backwards. Close your eyes and visualize. You're walking through a park from your eyes. You're not looking at yourself. You're in your eyes. You're walking. It's sunny out. Maybe you're holding hands with your significant other or potential significant other if you don't have one. Maybe you're just alone. Your clothes fit you very well. You can turn your head to the left, look out and see that dog. Dog comes up. You bend over and pet the dog. There's no pain in your body because you're fully mobile and not heavy. You're walking. It's 80 degrees and sunny outside. Beautiful weather. You wave hi to that pretty guy or pretty girl or whichever way you swing, whatever, right? Just take a breath, breathe in that visualization and just ask yourself, what action is that person taking? Like, what are they eating on their walk? What are they drinking? Are they drinking a Coca-Cola? Or are they drinking a water? They're going to stop and get a bite to eat. What bite to eat are they getting? Are they getting fast food? Or are they getting some kind of meat, some kind of fruit, some kind of whole food thing that's going to make them feel good? And just tap into, let yourself smile. I'm laying there in the bed and I'm just smiling. Go, man, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I'm so excited to work through this. I'm so excited for this to be my reality, to be back standing up straight. I'm fat as fuck and I'm so excited for this to be my reality, for me to feel good in my own body. Imagine what it's like to not be insecure in your own body. Imagine what it's like to take your shirt off at that park. And yeah, sure, maybe you got some stretch marks. You can't see them because you're not looking at yourself. You're looking from your own eyes. Ingest. What does it feel like in your body? Where's the lightness? Is it in your chest? Is it in your stomach? I know it's woo-woo. Just try. Take a big breath. Breathe it out. Just sit with that. Find a little bit of mindfulness. Take a 5-second pause. This visualization it's actually who you are. And it's really what your soul wants and what your soul desires. And your ability to connect with that future will dictate how consistently you take the actions that actually get you there. Your ability to sit in that energy of what it feels like, not what your body looks like, but what it feels like to take care of yourself and be proud of yourself. That is ultimately what is going to get you there. And maybe you've never felt that before. So if you've never been proud of yourself, that's difficult because you're trying to imagine something that you have never, ever felt ever, right? I challenge you, if that's you, well, Nick, I've never been proud of myself, so I don't know. There's got to be something that you've overcome in the past. You know, graduating from high school required you to show up to school every day, even when you didn't want to go. You could argue that actually takes more consistency than it does to lose weight and keep it off. So close your eyes and visualize all the days you didn't want to go to high school, but you still went. There's some pride tied to that because you could have just dropped out of school, right? And that's a low-level example. If you work a job you hate, there's got to be some pride tied to the fact that you are still going to work most of the days. Close your eyes and visualize. Shit, I'm pretty proud of myself because I could have just dropped out of work, could have got on food stamps and government assistance. I could be in a homeless shelter, could just be going to the food bank to get shit and not have any money. Like, you can live in most Western societies with no job and be fine. And you're choosing to not do that. You're choosing to still go to work even if you don't like your job. You know, maybe you had a kid on accident. I'm proud of myself because though I didn't have this kid intentionally, I still love my child. I found a way to take care of my child to the best of my ability. And a lot of parents would have just quit. A lot of parents would have given the kid up. A lot of parents would have neglected the child. That's not me. I chose a different path. And I'm proud of that. Tap into that feeling of pride. Feel where it is. And then tap into that visualization of you being healthy and associate those two feelings with each other. And this is mindful practice. This is a form of meditation. Yes, it's hippie shit. It's okay. There's a reason why hippie people have clear skin and smile a little bit more and live a little longer and typically aren't fat. You know, we have a lot to learn from people that live. I'm not talking about van hippie San Francisco pot smokers. So I was talking about people that live mindful and healthy lifestyles. The more that you tap into this, the more positive action that you're going to be able to do. The power of visualization, the power of imagination are the two, well, they're the same thing, but that's the most important thing that you can develop to lose weight and keep it off. Where I really developed it, where I really honed this, right? I started doing it when I was losing weight, but where I really honed it in was after I had already lost about 90 or 100 pounds. I had a 2 or 3 year running career where I got into running marathons and longer distances. And it's been a couple of years since I've ran that obsessively. And I would close my eyes and imagine what it was like to be at the finish line of a race before I'd started it. You know, so I'd run a 31-mile race of 50K. And I would be sitting there at the starting line and go, okay. I could see the image of me at the finish line with my middle fingers up in the air going, man, middle fingers to everyone that ever told me I was too fat. And I had this very like proving attitude at the time. I was younger, less mature, you know, less mentally experienced. And though that wasn't always healthy, it did help me build this mindset of being able to connect with an outcome. And then I would go, and the whole time I'd run that race, I'd see that image of me at the finish line. Okay, I'm there. I'm at the finish line. I've already ran this race. I've ran this race in my head 1 billion times. So the whole thing feels like a memory. I'm fat. I've lost weight properly so many times in my head that this whole weight loss journey feels like a memory. It doesn't feel like this present thing. It feels like I've already done it. When you master visualization, it feels like you've already done the thing that you're working to do. So I'm sitting there in the hospital now, again, it's 5-6 years later, right? A couple days ago, yesterday, sitting in the hospital, closing my eyes. I'm so tapped into having already healed and the energy of that it's like I've already done it. Like I'm already walking in my mind. So now that I'm up walking a day later, it's like, it's not this great thing. It's like I already knew I was going to be here because I could feel it. And I'm unattached to the outcome. That's the piece that I'm learning now. You know, that's my edge is, yes, I want that outcome, but I'm not attached to the outcome. This doesn't mean that I'm going to be sad if I can't walk in a day. This doesn't mean that I'm going to be sad if I didn't finish the marathon. This doesn't mean that I'm going to be sad if I don't hit my weight loss goal and I have a week where I gain the weight and I'm going to quit. It just means I'm going to continue practicing that visualization, continue sitting in that energy. This is what manifestation is. I'm not tied to the outcome. I'm setting the intention. I'm grateful for the journey. I'm grateful for the pain. All of the lessons I'm looking for, every lesson I'm looking for is coming from overcoming something. If you're never tested, you'll never know. If you never have a hard week, you'll never know what you're actually capable of. If you go through this beautiful weight loss journey, everything goes perfectly, you'll always sit in the insecurity of like, but what about when things go bad? You need things to go bad on your journey. That's why things go bad. We say, oh, the world, things are happening to me. The world is not the world. It's you. You are the world. You are God. God is inside of you. Anytime that shit hits the fan, you have an emotional breakdown on your weight loss journey, your scale breaks, you're out of food, you gained a pound, you don't know why, you feel like you're doing everything right. That's not the world. I say it's the world testing you. It's actually you testing yourself. Subconsciously, it's you putting obstacles in front of yourself as an opportunity to prove to yourself that you can work through them. And when you zoom out, right, see that, really zoom out from what's happening. Oh, I got to keep my hands on this walker. Really zoom out from what's happening and look at what is happening month to month and year to year in your life. If you get anything out of this episode, I hope it's that your ability to connect with the future that you want is ultimately the number one thing that will dictate your sustainability and your willingness to get through the hard parts, because most of us just get to a hard part and quit and restart again on Monday. That was my whole life, Your ability to sit in a visualization of what life could be like and could feel like. And you could just feel that in me. If you can't feel it in you, just take it through the camera, take it through the microphone, hear it in my voice, hear the radiance and the truth in this, hear how much I believe in this, feel some of that. You can steal some of that belief from me. And over time, you'll develop it in yourself. I did that. I had, people that I followed online that not in the same way, not in the same journey, but I would just be like, give me some of their belief. Let me steal some of them. Let me embody some of that. Embody some of this in you. Go back and rewind this episode and practice saying the things that I said. Go back through the visualization and say it out loud to yourself a couple times and just find your own language to it. Your willingness to sit with yourself, your willingness to connect with the future, and your ability to do that will dictate your success. You deserve to feel that. You deserve to develop this mental muscle just like you do any other muscle. It's built over time. I'm 6 years into this journey of sustainability. I'm like 12 or 15 years into the whole weight loss ring around the rosy shit. But doing it the right way, I'm 6 years in. I haven't mastered every single thing. I'm right here in the weeds with you guys, just in a different way and dealing with maybe some different issues now, but every single issue is actually the same. The best part of weight loss is it gives you the reference point that you can get through anything and all the lessons you're looking for in life, relationally, confidence-wise, financially, business-wise, family-wise. Everything is found in the journey of addressing the one thing that you have not done sustainably, and that is weight loss. And that's why you deserve to put this as your top priority, because every single thing in your life will be easier forever, including hardships that come up, like having a protruding disc that was never addressed and building a plan and sitting in the visualization of that. You absolutely have what it takes to keep the weight off. You absolutely have what it takes to lose the weight and to keep the weight off forever.